Warning, we are a spoilers podcast. At times we are also an offensive podcast. And we are most certainly a verbally explicit podcast. So if you fear for any of your delicate sensibilities, please back up now before you reach the point of no return. Alright, pussies, this is your final warning.
Good evening, all fans and freaks. This is another episode of Cinematic Anarchy, and yes, I did call you a bunch of freaks, because if you're still listening to us after 20-something, 30-something episodes, you are a glutton for punishment. I'm Chris, and over here to my left...
I'm back!
Is Zeff.
It's me, Zeff. I haven't been here for a while.
Well, you've been poking in here and there, so we have a couple of podcasts that we have you involved in, but unfortunately he hasn't been part of the larger group as of late.
Boo.
That's perfectly fine. We're going to keep having him come in, buffer podcasts and bonus podcasts, and he is going to be part of this team, whether we like it or not.
And I hope you like it, because...
I like it.
I'm kind of here to stay. You might get a couple of weeks, without me, but I'm the gift that keeps on giving, I suppose.
If you want to call it a gift, okay.
I'm the herpes of podcasts.
I am the pipe bomb that keeps on giving.
Well, what are we here to talk about today?
Anyway, now that we're done insulting you, I feel only so bad because you haven't been around for a little bit. We needed to get a little bit of good-natured ribbing in.
Yeah, it's all right. If you can't take it, don't give it, and I can give it.
Well, as long as you're not giving it to me. You know what I mean. Anyhow. Okay. Okay, so this week we are going to go headlong into a fantastic little Rutger Hauer flick, Blind Fury. And I believe probably our listeners are very, very tired of me using the word fantastic and absolutely and shit like that. And I got to try to widen my vocabulary a little bit, but this is a great flick.
Read a book. Just kidding. Watch all these movies.
So it's a early 90s flick starring Rutger Hauer, Terry O'Quinn, Randall Tex Cobb. We have a nice little cameo by Meg Foster, who bites it way too early. Love those beautiful blue eyes.
Yeah, but I don't think she died too early. It's like this kid could not have two moms.
Well, yeah, I mean, but they could have kidnapped the mom, and they didn't have to kill her that early.
Yeah, I hated that side of the family. The mom made the child a complete little pussy, and I hated him 98% of the movie.
And the child played by Brandon Call. Otherwise known for his role on Step by Step. That was a 90s TGI Friday show.
You don't tell me, I know.
You know, okay.
Step by step, day by day.
Okay, we're getting a little more serenading. You've been singing a little bit more often on the podcast lately.
Yeah, it's because I love this. This is my life.
All right, yeah. We still have to get back out to karaoke again sometime.
Definitely. I went karaoke the other night in Boston. Hong Kong is the place. $1.75 beers. If you guys are in the Boston area, I highly suggest going there. And you may end up seeing me there at one point. Drinking and some karaoke as well.
With occasional drinking while doing karaoke.
Yeah.
On stage with the beer in hand.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Definitely a good time.
So we have another couple of characters here. We've got Lisa Blount as Annie Winchester. We've got Noble Winningham as McCready, the big bad in the movie. And then some other bit characters, some guys that I really liked. I liked Rick Overton and Nick Cassavetes. That's Tector and Lyle. They were pretty fun. And then there was just a rather large group of rednecks. Mid-movie.
My favorite redneck was Popcorn, because his name in the movie is Popcorn.
Yes. I did like Popcorn. He bit it a little too quick.
Well, his life was eating popcorn.
I don't think he even said anything. I think it was just, he was eating popcorn, and then click, click, turns around, shoots one guy, turns back around, gets stabbed in the stomach. So his life was a little confusing and then over.
Right.
So I guess the entire plot, it revolves around, well, of course, the blind man played by Rutger Hauer. He plays Nick Parker, who basically is blinded during the war.
He gets hit with a mortar.
He was blinded during the Vietnam War, and a local tribe kind of revived him, and brought him back to health, and then kind of taught him the way of the sword, so to speak, or the katana. Which
is it called the katana? Because
I don't know. I mean, it's still Vietnam.
Yeah, but Vietnam isn't.
I don't know what the blade is called in Vietnam. You want to look that up while I'm continuing to talk here?
See.
So they teach him how to expertly wield the sword as a blind man. So right off the bat, you know that he's going to be a badass after he cuts the fruit in half, or in four is really, and the kid's just holding it in his hand gleefully after having thrown it up in the air for him to do so. Mind you, this is very quick montage to get right into the movie. And into that first scene in the gas station. So he's going to find his friend Frank Devereaux. Basically visit his family. And he comes across this entire group of guys in a gas station. And you're still out of it over here. I'm the only one talking.
Yeah, you could talk. Remember, I'm looking up the sword thing. There's a lot of sword information here.
Well, don't put that much effort. We're going to call it a katana.
We're not going to call it
in the hilt of a cane.
I'm thinking it's a Jian sword is what we are referring to here.
So basically, it was a sword hidden in a cane.
Well, it's a double-edged sword that, you know what I mean, as opposed to a katana, which has a single blade.
Whatever. As far as I'm concerned, it's a gigantic Ginsu knife. Okay.
No, we are talking about. I love swords.
Okay.
Okay. Almost as much as I love anime.
Okay, it's cutlery.
No.
It's cutlery.
I mean, I will cut your knee with a knife.
Yes, he's filleting human beings, but it's still cutlery.
Yeah, I suppose. Knives are awesome.
And the guy at the end, he was using a katana blade.
Yes, definitely, 100%. So in the end, he uses a katana at one point. He touches the Japanese man's face, and he's like, "Ha, you must be Japanese." Which the guy was like, I don't know if he was like really mad that he could tell that he was Japanese by touching his face, and like, can you tell the difference?
Honestly, I can't tell the difference sighted.
Right. So, oh, you bastard.
I have to ask, because I don't want to insult people, of like, what nationality are you? You can't tell? Honestly, no. Well, what, do we all look alike to you? No, you don't all look alike. I just can't tell your nationality on sight.
Right.
It's just something I can't do. So
it's like telling the difference between like an Irish and an Italian at some point. It's like
unless you listen for accent. There's little inflections in the accent, but by sight.
Right.
I can't do it.
Doesn't matter. Like, all people look alike.
We're all human beings.
Yeah. So do not get offended if I'm like, dude, are you German and you're French? Don't
get offended if I'm like, dude, are you African American and you're white?
Well, of course not. Wiggers.
Anyway, so the opening scene, that opening scene just after the montage, I thought was actually pretty good. It's like, you need a little bit of sauce on your burrito, and he's like, okay, what do you want? You want mild or extra hot? And he's like, I want mild.
And they put the extra hot on there.
And shortly thereafter, and I relayed this to you earlier. The fight scene that started there, you don't see as much during the rest of the movie. Mm-hmm. But you could tell that there was a lot of study of Jackie Chan during those opening moments of the...
Yeah. Like, what I kind of think you mean by that, like, from what you told me and what I see, like, there was a lot of accidental fighting, which Jackie Chan does, like, very well, like, with his drunken fist, like, type deal.
Right. I mean, it's like... He's fighting, but it's almost all defensive kind of fighting. Kind of like, I don't know if you saw the Rumble in the Bronx.
No.
That was actually a pretty good flick of his. And a lot of the fighting there kind of reminds me of the same stuff here.
But I could definitely see it being a defensive style fighting, because you have to wait for them to attack before you can, reverse it, kind of like a judo type.
It's basically using their momentum against them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we, unfortunately, fall into the next few scenes. We fall into the scene where he finally shows up at the house of the little whiny brat. I don't know.
I have the sniffles. My dad doesn't love me. I made a dumb dinosaur and I don't like it, so I'm going to throw it out the window. Better pick that shit up, Billy.
You know, here's the thing, is that the way that I look at this kid is like all of the participation trophy kids that you see nowadays. Oh my God, where's my trophy? I do everything and you do nothing. I don't win, but I'm still a winner.
I'm going to flip off this old blind guy because I think it's fun and cool.
Okay, you little shit. Turn in your participation trophy. You're not allowed to participate anymore.
You participate in the ass whooping that you're about to receive because that's what he needed.
Right. And I don't understand why he didn't, straighten this kid up. This is a Vietnam War vet who lost his sight in battle. He should be a little bit more hardened than that.
Well, he learned peace through, peace and serenity through friggin'...
He learned, a Peter Parker-esque sarcasm. He had, sarcasm the entire movie.
Well, fuck me, I guess, Oh, man, in the initial scene in the diner at the beginning, he's, these guys end up stealing the purse. And they're throwing it around, and you can tell what's going on, and he ends up getting a hold of the purse, and, he's like, she's like, give me the purse back, and he goes, I'm not sure if it'll match your dress. It's like, man.
Yeah, and then there was that one scene nearing the middle of the movie when they escape from Lyle and Tector, and he's, no, it wasn't, they didn't escape yet, so they're being chased down by Lyle and Tector, and they get chased down an alleyway. Lyle and Tector flip over their car. He comes this close to crashing into a wall, and he's like, maybe I should go get my license again.
Yeah, definitely. I could do this. As for the beginning portion of him driving, wasn't so bad. But towards the end, he's going down one ways. And
well, whiny little Billy was a shitty navigator. He really was. Left. No, right!
I meant right. Fuck you, Billy.
It's like, dude, if you're going to fucking navigate, at least navigate properly. Don't, send me down a blind alley or turn me this way, turn me that way. Now we're going down a one-way street with all these cars barreling at us, and the only response these guys give is screaming.
Yeah.
Ah! That doesn't help anybody.
That would throw me off a lot. Oh no, what am I about to do? Why are you screaming?
Or he, bumps that little redneck dude in his car, and he's like, what the hell is your problem? He's like, I'm blind. What's your excuse?
Oh, shit. He really is blind.
Of course, then there was the little quip that Billy threw at him earlier in the movie, and he's like, I got the window seat. You don't need it. You're blind. He's like, yeah, you got me there, you little prick.
Well, throughout the movie, he kind of, does toughen him up a little bit, even though, not substantially enough.
No, he does not toughen him up. The only thing is he turned it from a codependent relationship between him and his mother to a codependent relationship between him and his uncle. That is it. Because the end of the movie was literally him running off, don't leave me! Don't leave me! It's you got your dad and his girlfriend back. Why are you running after your uncle?
And then, his uncle saved his life multiple times. I wish I had an uncle like that saving my life all the time.
I wish I had an uncle like that taught me how to save my own fucking life.
Oh, well, yes. Give me a sword, uncle.
Right?
Billy's a little shit. So the guy's sitting there, walking over to attempt to get his gun to shoot him before he gets to the katana or whatever. And Billy's just like, Uncle, here! And he throws him the sword.
Right.
Hey, blind guy!
Just throws the sword to a blind guy who's just sitting there with his hands, and he doesn't even throw it the right way. He threw it right into the electrified whirlpool.
Mm-hmm. And you'd think, all right, yeah, this guy is caught in stuff, out of nowhere, but that's, small objects that you could catch with one hand. The sword could be sideways getting thrown at you. And
so what I don't get, about that one particular scene... The entire beginning montage is this guy who is able to cut a fruit in fours in midair with the same blade that he misses catching when Billy throws it at him.
Right, but that's the thing. His sword is cylinder object.
That's Billy's power. Right there. Billy's power is is that his voice is so nasally and whiny, it disrupts the blind man's thought patterns. He can't see the thing coming, and he misses it a mile away.
I met a blind guy once. He told me that I shouldn't have a $10 tip in my tip jar.
No?
Yeah. Weird, right? Yeah. We call him Daredevil. I've seen him. Okay. I've seen him drive and use his phone, but he walks around town.
Billy, every time you talk a little, I die a little inside.
I needed a Billy. That guy was a creep. Billy Talk, he's here.
How do you know that's a $10 tip? Did you feel up my bill before you put it in the jar?
No, he's like, you're an attractive man. Why do you need a walking stick, sir?
Okay.
Maybe you do need a walking stick. I am not an attractive man.
Keep your walking stick to yourself, sir.
I gotta say, he was all hands.
Well, that most blind people are. You know, they gotta.
What's this, sir? That's my dick.
Yeah. No. If he's got to feel more than your face to tell what you look like, then he's not blind anymore. He's just copping a feel.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
But
no, but I like the concept of this movie for the most part. It kind of brings it down to the blind samurai of legends, and
I'd like to see somebody remake this movie. I would. I'd like to.
I feel like if you did that, you're giving it too much of a Daredevil feel nowadays.
Well, yeah, I guess that, people that hadn't actually seen the movie back in the 90s may feel like, hey, we're ripping on Daredevil here, but, it's not really the same story. We're not talking about, a chemical spill or anything that blinded the guy. But, and who's to say you can't do another blind badass learns to fight kind of thing?
Right, like I said, Samurai Legend, it's all over the place. In the anime One Piece, there's a captain of the Navy who's blind. He cut his own eyes because he was sick of seeing all the hate in the world, but he learned to fight. You have, in the Boondocks, the cartoon, I don't know if you ever watched that, but there's an old blind guy who just kicks the uncle's ass all the time. They get into a fight, and It's
been a while since I've seen the Boondocks.
But but yeah, so he ends up fighting him.
Did you ever read the Boondocks?
No.
It was a comic strip before it was a...
Why read when you can watch? Put the subtitles on.
Too many fucking people have been saying that to me lately. I'm talking movies and books to the guys at work, and they're like, I don't read. Yeah, every single one of them. I don't read. The only person in the building that's confessing that he's reading is 70-something-year-old Norm.
Of course Norm reads.
Norm's the only guy that reads. And for those of you who don't know who Norm is the lovable old man at my job, Zeff's former job. He is everybody knows Norm. People pass by me all day long. Norm's right behind me. They're like, hi. And I'm like, hi back. And then I realize they're not talking to me. They're talking to Norm. So it's Norm makes me feel like I don't exist sometimes, but he's the friendliest fucking guy ever.
Yeah, sometimes hey, you need that in office space,
Right. Well, Norm also, by all means, is way too old to be working. He should have retired a long time ago.
He needs to get out of the house. He doesn't want to be around
America
his wife
today.
all day.
You're going to be working till you're dead.
Slavery.
It may be a part-time job, but you're working till you're dead.
Slavery.
Slave labor. Okay. So, favorite part of the movie?
A few of my favorite parts of that movie, really.
Well, touch on a couple.
So you put me on the spot, though. I hate when you do that. You gotta
I can tell you.
Through it.
I have a few favorite parts of the movie. Now, I think I pointed out one to you as we were watching it. There's a scene where the blind man, it's near the climax of the movie, when he's first trying to get Frank, and he traps Lyle and Tector in the elevator with the two bodyguards, and they immediately go, shit, fuck.
That was a good one. One of mine is when he ends up falling down in the mud, and Billy laughs, and then he starts to go run off, and friggin' he ends up falling, and he's like, oh, my knee, and he's like, fuck you, little kid.
Why don't you wait there for the paramedics?
Yeah, I'm leaving. You can come with me or not. And he's kind of just like, all right, I'm going to play a prank on him. Let's give him a rock. tell him it's candy, and then he spits the rock, like, bites the rock, realizes it's a rock, pretends to swallow it, but then friggin' just hawks it right at his forehead. Like, fuck you, little kid.
I think my second favorite scene in the movie is the top of the top of the mountain there, where they're all gathered together waiting for that trolley car to get to the top. Mm-hmm. And it gets to the top, and every single one of the villains in the movie, every henchman, everybody, is all just taking a piece out of this trolley car. Just shooting it. And then, I don't know if it was Lyle or Tector just speaks up at the end, "Man, that thing has more holes than my daddy's condom."
Well, we know how you were born.
Yep.
Accident.
By accident, completely, because nobody's having you on purpose, Tector.
Yep, I was a texter. No, like, so, all in all, though, like, I did like the concept of the blind warrior type deal.
Well, that's why I said it would be interesting to see them try to redo it now, but they'd have to at this point, you can't just do a goofy one-off comedy like that. You'd have to
give it like Ninja Assassin type feel for it,
right?
Like make it all dark, and
it would have to be like a little bit more intense. But I mean, I would still like to see the same kind of sarcastic approach. Like, I would like to see damn it, what's his name? Batman there. Got the name off the top of my head. Christian Bale would kind of do that perfectly. He could be sort of the fighting badass, but he also have a sarcastic attitude at the same time.
All right, I can see Christian Bale doing it. I'm trying to think if I can find anybody else.
Well, because, he's after watching him in Equilibrium, you've seen that, right? Mm-hmm. I think he's like a fantastic. He'd be fantastic in sort of a martial arts, like, swordsman kind of movie. Seeing some of Batman Begins shows that.
I can see Tom Hardy doing it as well. I feel like he can figure his way through that, being an ex-war vet.
Yeah, I could see Tom Hardy doing that. Though, I saw him in Venom, and maybe I just haven't seen him in enough where he's, like, out of makeup. Like, because he always plays something that's, like, completely, like, just made up.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's played plenty of roles.
He was like Sabretooth at one point, if I'm not mistaken. And, I've always seen him in, like, full makeup or something, so seeing him in Venom, just outside of the makeup, he kind of seemed a little drunk the entire movie to me. He kind of seemed like a drunk.
Well, in that kind of, like, remember he's like, oh, I've got a parasite. Like, if you're sick with a parasite, you're not exactly...
Yeah.
You're not exactly top shelf material there.
Parasite, symbiote, whatever you want to call it. I guess I could kind of see Tom Hardy. I don't know about the sarcastic attitude part of it, though. Like, he kind of came off as a loving, kind of sarcastic dude. I don't even know if we could get that out of Christian Bale, really.
Yeah, well, the whole thing is you would really need... you need him to be tougher, because what we're going to need to do with this remake of this movie is aim it more towards stop being a little shit kid, and more towards, you can't... Not everything's going to be handed to you. You need to fucking do shit. Because that's... Alright, I feel like this movie started the next generation after me, and I hate it.
Okay.
I hate kids nowadays. I hate everything about them. All right.
I think Edward Norton.
Edward Norton.
Edward Norton.
Nah, I don't see it.
You don't see it?
No, because he needs to be war vet. You got to think war vet.
Well, I'm saying, if you look at how Rutger Hauer looked in that movie, right? Mm-hmm. You give him some shaggy blonde hair. You got to grow out the hair a little bit, because he's always had kind of clean cut hair. You got to make him a little shaggy around the gills. Let him grow out a little bit of scruff. Even ask him to go and work out a little bit, get a little wiry. But I mean, I think Edward Norton could pull it off. He's got a weird kind of sarcastic attitude. He can also be a badass at times. He was great in Primal Fear. I loved him in Death to Smoochie, which was a weird friggin' film. And that shows his sarcastic kind of weird side. Because he played like a almost Barney-esque character in that.
I guess I just typecast him too much for Fight Club and
well, he did good in Fight Club, too.
Yeah, but not the same type of
fuck the Incredible Hulk. That thing, ruined his career. He shouldn't have gotten involved It was the Incredible Hulk.
Because he's like, I feel like he was stuck being like Liam Neeson. Put Liam Neeson in as this guy.
There's only 2 people that have touched on the Hulk that I liked. Okay? 2 people. Mark Ruffalo and Lou Ferrigno. And Lou Ferrigno forever will be the Hulk to me. Just because he was a human being playing the Hulk, and that guy was jacked. I could actually believe him flipping over a car and that, it's...
Lou fucking Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno. Okay. All right, so worst part of the movie, and I already know what you're going to say.
The kid.
Brandon Call.
And this has nothing to do with his acting. It's just like the writing, like the person he had to portray, I hate. Right. You know what I mean? Like, he was perfectly fine. Like, it's not like he messed up his roles. It's not like he, like, really, like, over-exaggerated, like, calm parts and everything. Like, he played his role fine, except he was just a little shit kid. Like, that's what he had to play.
A whiny little shit, yeah.
Yeah, and I hate that. I hate it. Let's end this.
Right?
We're gonna do the Sparta thing and just send kids off into the wilderness.
How did this kid not clue into the fact that his mom was dead? How did he get dragged halfway across the country before finally? Why can't I call? He was not bright either. Mm-hmm. Just not bright. He constantly was trying to pull practical jokes on the blind guy, giving him a rock, telling him it was candy. You know,
friggin'. Almost got him arrested by the cops because, not for nothing, their relationship's super creepy.
Right.
Like the creepiest. They fell asleep in the park at one point. Like,
I don't like the fact that they're on the run. Obviously, I don't like the fact that they opened up that scene. They don't show the uncle and the kid. They show just clothes everywhere. And then they pan over to the kid and the uncle fully clothed in something else.
And right before this, he's like touching his face, like, you have a nice face, a nice head. You could use some brains in there.
Like, you have a nice face, but I wish you'd shut it every once in a while.
Nice strong chin you got there. And he's like, oh, I get it, you're blind and you have to touch people to like figure out like what they look like, but still, like, this was pre like Amber Alert shit.
No. Yeah, it was kind of creepy. I never got that vibe out of the Rutger Hauer character. I was a little bit weirded out by that one scene with the clothes. There should have been like some kind of context to that, like,
so like
at some point
when they're on the run. Yes, he's like, there's nothing going on, but like when they have their like private time. Right. Like, they get to, like, have conversations, and he's like, I'm sorry your mom is dead. And, like, all this stuff. Kind of creepy. Like, the kid had no personal space. Like, his boundary issues are out there.
Right.
And
sleeping all over the guy, hands in the face, legs on his lap,
And he doesn't know how close he is because he's blind. You know, right. Like, you wouldn't want people that close to your face if you weren't blind.
Where in America is there a park where you can... obviously, at some point, disrobe, get in other clothes, sleep on the ground, hang your clothes all over the tree, and people are just watching you.
Yeah, set a fire. It's like...
there's some old guy with a kid under a blanket just sitting over there.
It's like the blind guy, he thought he was in the middle of the woods, and the kid was just like, this is a safe park, and let's not tell him that we don't have any cover.
Just out wide in the open, there's these 2 old folks just sitting there watching them.
They must have, like, got... because it didn't look like a campground. It looked like they were there, like, just on a picnic at the park.
Hey, Martha, there's a kid and some guy over there. Let's just sit at the picnic table and watch how this unfolds.
Let's see if we can join, Martha. I
think the grandma and grandpa there might have been just a little bit perverted.
Yeah.
Like, why not walk up and be like, what the hell are you guys doing? What are you doing with this kid laying on the ground over here? You know?
Like, and why do you look super homeless? And why does the kid look like he, recently came from a house?
Yeah. He's a little clean. You're a little unclean. I don't get it. What's going on here?
Another thing, so the kid just willingly goes with him. He's like, I'm supposed to take you to Reno. But he never tells him, like, I'm taking you to your dad until way later in the movie. But this guy's just like, oh, okay. My mom said it's fine. Let's go.
We need to go. Mom said I got to take you to Reno. Why can't I talk to Mom? Not now, kid. Let's go. And mind you, I don't know if this was pre-Stranger Danger.
Yeah, right. It had to have been pre-Stranger Danger.
Because What kid in their right mind is going to get dragged halfway across the country or even to a fucking bus station if they still think their mom's alive? Right? I just met my uncle. This is the first time I've ever seen you.
He's not even my uncle.
Bunch of people attacked us. I don't know where my mom is. You're dragging me to the bus station. Something is not right about this.
No.
Honestly, if I were Billy, I would have used his power of whining, his little supersonic powers to disrupt the blind man and get the cops to help him out.
Well, so apparently in the United States of America, before 1989, there were no kidnappings of children because
right.
Nobody gave a fuck. Nobody gave a fuck.
Not a single person. We're not asking why are you dragging this kid around. He obviously does not seem very comfortable.
Yeah, the kid's crying, you know what I mean? The cop comes over, and yeah, he's blind, and like, who's really gonna get kidnapped by a blind guy? But
somebody not so quick.
The kid just is like, I don't know him,
Mind you, a blind guy that can hear wherever you are. He's real good at hearing.
Yeah, but he's not my dad. And like the cop was just like, he's not. And then he could have just talked his way out of that with the cop. Just been like, yeah, I'm taking him to see his dad. Like, I'm his Uncle Nick. And he would have been like, oh, okay. And he would have been like,
sure, carry on.
I want to
wait a minute. Actually, I did see that kid on a milk carton earlier.
Right, it was clear in the newspaper, like, missing child.
I believe this is still back in the day where the kids were on the side of the milk cartons. That was like the 80s, early 90s.
Well, that particular milk wasn't put out yet.
Have you seen Little Billy? He's missing.
Like, I think I've seen Little Billy. He's with the old man in the park.
Yep, they got naked earlier. You can see the clothes are over there. Those clothes are on them. At some point, they were both naked. That's creepy as fucking hell. All right, so I think that's enough of blind fury for right now. We're going to go ahead and take a bit of a break for, well, our sponsors.
For our sponsors.
We're going to go ahead and take a quick break for a couple of people just us, to talk about people that we care about, products that we care about, things that we care about, because, well...
Anime.
Money.
Anime.
Hey, honestly, one of those companies, they want to pay us to talk about anime, I'll do it.
Yeah, I love anime.
You know any of the actual companies that produce anime?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
Nope.
No? Okay.
I can figure it out. I know some of the writers' names.
Okay.
Nope, you put me on the spot.
You're on the spot again. Well, that's the whole point. I'm supposed to put you on the spot, test your knowledge.
I can figure it out. I listen to it all the time. I know a lot about it.
You don't watch it?
I watch it, and then I listen to the manga.
I'm confused. What do you mean you listen to the manga?
The manga's like, I had a schedule, and the anime is like...
Do you just like have all the dialogue from a manga and just, let's play this. I don't want to look at any of the stuff in the book. I want it to be read to me.
Yep.
That's what you do?
I make up my own shit.
You have the dialogue just read to you, and you close your eyes and just imagine. Okay. Hey, whatever you got to do. All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to listen to our sponsors, and we are kind of back with our pitch storm portion of the podcast.
Fuck off.
Thank you. This is the first time we've done a two-man pitch storm. I don't think we've done this two-man before. However, while trying to get the cards together for pitch storm, Zeff has managed to put himself in a position where he's now splayed out on the floor in front of us, mainly because he dropped the entire 200-card deck on the ground. So there's cards everywhere, and he's currently putting things...
Everywhere!
Yes, everywhere. Everywhere.
Plot cards, though.
So I'm going to go ahead and put something together here. We got our cards, and we got... All right, let's see how this works.
But it was pretty cool how this worked out, though, because I just picked random cards off the ground. So...
Well, as you were saying, it's probably better shuffled than they've been in a long time, so... albeit it took a rather...
I'm still cleaning them up.
It was rather ungraceful dropping of the cards,
we had enough time for you to listen to sponsors, and we could have listened to sponsors.
Well, we could have just sat here for a few minutes and waited for you to pick up the cards before we started, but I thought, nah, we'll start this while you're ass to the air and on the ground picking up the cards. That's more entertaining for me anyway.
Yeah. read us the plot, all right?
Okay. So we got plot, character, and notes. Our movie, interior, cabin in the woods. A fraternity on a weekend retreat deep in the woods fights to save their family from demonic possession. And what if this were set during medieval times instead?
Alright, so, like, we have, like, a night school. You know what I mean? Like, for nights.
Yeah?
Because it has to be a medieval setting, and they have to be in school, right?
Well, it could be. Or we could take we could take the route that Army of the Dead took, where you take a character from current day and project them into the past. So sort of a time travel kind of movie. You get an entire fraternity of people whose families have been abducted by demons from medieval times.
All right. Because one of them played with the spell book in the library.
Sounds good. Now, who are our atypical frat guys?
I wish we could have young Matthew McConaughey. Young Matthew
McConaughey? Well, I mean, technically you can have young Matthew McConaughey if you think about it. I mean, look what they did with Sam Jackson in The Avengers. Not The Avengers, Captain Marvel. So technically you could...
Young Matthew McConaughey.
Have young Matthew McConaughey if you really wanted him. So let's see. Young Matthew McConaughey. Who do we put him with?
We need a couple of guys. I say we definitely have...
Definitely have
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
No, I have no idea who is.
Zach Galifianakis.
Zach Galifianakis?
Yeah, he has to be like one of the fraternity guys that like clearly has been there for too long.
I've got an idea. Instead of young Matthew McConaughey, we're going to take this another step. These guys are returning alumni for the fraternity. Okay?
Okay.
So these guys have basically are going to this fraternity that their sons are currently going to as well. So they're returning alumni. So Zach Galifianakis, Matthew McConaughey, they're the fathers of a couple of kids that are currently going to the same fraternity that they went to as teenagers.
All right.
20-somethings. You know who else I like in this movie? Like for this? Because we're going to put it in medieval times. We're gonna do a whole lot of hot tub time machine kind of shit, but medieval times. Let's go ahead and throw Ben Affleck in there. Just because Ben Affleck, he desperately needs a role where he is not so fucking serious. Alright, I'm goddamn tired of all this Gone Baby Gone and Argo bullshit. I want to see him do something just off the wall crazy.
Well, I liked what's the one that he did where he played the accountant.
The Accountant. Yeah, that was a good flick.
That
was a batshit crazy flick, though. That was not like his atypical kind of movie.
Yeah.
Reindeer Games. A lot of people hated that. I liked that movie. Just because it is not atypical Ben Affleck shit.
But we can throw him in there. Like, so this is going to end up being like more towards like a comedy type deal. It has to be a comedy.
I think we're gonna make it comedic, definitely. Mm-hmm. So this is definitely like, you know, Army of Darkness kind of funny all the way. Yeah. All right, take it basically Army of Darkness meets Hot Tub Time Machine. Okay.
So like everybody hates Ben Affleck's character.
Oh, Ben Affleck. Okay.
Yeah,
I think Ben Affleck is the douche that always insists on paddling the new guys.
Right. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like he's that guy. Like.
But he is a deeply repressed homosexual.
Yes.
In the movie. So he gets like a weird thrill out of it, and occasionally you see him make these eyes, just, you know, every time he paddles a guy.
You know, and like that ends up being his weapon of choice. Like at this, like they get kidnapped in like a farm.
Right. You know? He's got a name for the paddle and everything. It's like etched into the thing.
It's like something out of variation of Excalibur, but for like paddling asses.
This paddle is basically the size of a cricket bat.
Yeah, like
maybe it's a retrofitted cricket bat that he uses as a paddle.
Spankcalibur.
I like that.
Yeah, it's called Spankcalibur.
Right.
And like that's his weapon of choice.
He's got this weird kind of like sword in the stone set up in the fraternity that he remove. He's the only one that can remove it.
Yeah, it's like it's linked to his fingerprint.
Yeah.
And that's how they like find like they end up in this like secret hall where the amulet is or something that brings them back.
Right. So these guys, I guess, make it sort of like what is that movie, The Skulls?
Yeah.
Where basically it's a secret society too. So you have the fraternity that also has sort of like a secret underground kind of society thing that they do.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's do it like it's No, I don't want to go Dungeons and Dragons.
No, not Dungeons and Dragons. I want these guys to be very much modern guys, but just
successful in life. Like they had to have a good fraternity.
Like how Matthew Lawrence got dropped into the middle of some thick shit in the middle of Black Knight.
Yeah,
just he is definitely himself the entire movie. He doesn't try to play up medieval at all. It's just he gets thrown up into some shit and he has to go with it.
Yeah,
same thing with these guys.
When they're in the past, all the women love Zach Galifianakis.
All the women love Zach Galifianakis and hates both Matthew McConaughey
because
they
don't have beards. Like they're not like your typical. Like he's gonna come in like all.
I got
grungy.
A fourth guy.
Yeah, is it a black guy? Because we need a black guy.
Nope. Colin Hanks. Colin Hanks, but here's the deal. Colin Hanks' kid is an adopted African American kid, so he's the guy that adopted. He's the only one with an adopted kid there.
Yeah, and then can we have?
We need a black guy though. What's
something Hernandez? He played the guy who talks a lot in Ant-Man.
Oh God, I don't know his actual name.
Yeah.
That's gonna bother me. Okay, we'll continue on.
So like he's a part of it as well, and like.
We don't have the kids here. I think the kids should all be like no names.
They all go to the same school. That's why they're there. Their kids are getting inducted into the same school, so they all end up meeting up. They all had kids around the same exact time.
You're talking this guy here, Michael Pena?
Yeah.
Him.
He played, I swear, like his name is Hector in Ant-Man or whatever.
Luis.
His
name's Luis. You keep hearing Hector everywhere.
Hector.
The guy from Recoil you thought was Hector in like every movie.
Yeah,
like, no, it's not.
That was an ongoing joke about the internet. So, anyways, not all Mexicans are named Hector.
We're gonna have to get that stereotype right out of your head, dude.
Yeah, apparently, like that's what I'm thinking. Because that's what else? It's not like that. I mean it that way.
No, you thought that's what the name was, and it definitely wasn't.
So we're gonna get Hector over here to.
So I say that the kids are like not even the focal point of the movie. Like they're there, the parents are there, and the kids get like kidnapped somehow or like just dragged into the past because they're doing this ritual to kind of pass on their whatever they got during this underground ritual that they always do for their fraternity. They're passing those powers on to their children, and somehow it goes wrong, and their kids are basically drawn back into medieval times, whatever, and they're forced to go after them.
So, all right, they all have a specific weapon that works for them.
Right.
And, like, that's what's supposed to be passed on to their children.
So these all have to be kind of fraternity related. So what do we have here? We got, I believe...
Spankcalibur.
You got Spankcalibur. I think Zach Galifianakis should be armed with nothing but a beer bong. That's what I think. He is literally armed with nothing but a beer bong, which he's got to figure out how to use as a weapon.
And he is the drunken master.
The drunken master, okay.
So, like, yeah, he has the beer bong... But, like, at one point they're being attacked, and they're like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm using my weapon! And he's just, because, like, for some reason he just has unlimited beer.
He can't fight unless he's drunk.
Yeah.
Like, he is super uncoordinated, sober. But when he's drunk...
He's, like, the man. Everything, like, he succeeds at everything. He's that drunk guy.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? That kind of reminds me of, Beer Fest.
Yeah, when, like...
The guy that... He can't play quarters unless he's absolutely blitzed.
Yeah. Play ping pong and dig dang.
Who else did we have here? We have Matthew McConaughey. So Matthew McConaughey, what should be his...
He has like a glove of some sort. Like it's like kind of like
glove?
like a gauntlet. You know what I mean? Like he's the chooser of the fraternity. Like he has to like choose the yay or nay out of the bag, and he has like a special glove.
He has like a special glove that he puts on that.
Like, you know what I mean? It's disgusting after generations of being passed down.
I want to say that the glove looks like is disgusting, is just covered in these weird white stains.
It's like...
But he puts it on with pride every time. He's just got this cocky look, all right.
This his role is the chooser. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, everybody casts their vote, and he's the chooser. He figures out what the final say
this
is.
legend that he never had sex in the fraternity without wearing that glove.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna pass this on to you, son.
Baby. You know, just
so it's a disgusting glove.
And says it's time for a ride.
So when they go back, all the items turn into like actual like items back. Like, you know what I mean? Like Spankcalibur becomes like an actual sword.
Actual sword.
And because he's always like with it, you know, like
I want to say it's an illusion. So to keep with the comedy aspect, it's an illusion. They see these things as having become like the actual representations. One guy's got I don't know what you turn the fucking beer bong into. I mean, the beer bong... No,
that stays a beer bong.
Right.
Like, he'd never had...
One guy has this metal gauntlet. You have like, Spankcalibur. Looks like an actual sword.
Yeah, he literally was only part of the fraternity because he partied so hard and he was like the coolest guy. Right. But when he's sober, he's just a weirdo. Like it's
like he was always a weirdo, but 5 beers in and he became the guy.
The smooth, like hey guys, like come over here, like I'm throwing a party, but like beforehand, like hey guys, that party that we threw yesterday was just
Animal House,
kind of, just quiet, but the party animal. And he's like, come on guys, like let's all do a beer bong, like, and his son is equally as weird, just sitting in the corner on like a DS or something.
But he does not have the drunk charisma. Does not have the drunk charisma.
No, his thing will be like smoking weed or something.
Right. He has it's like smoking weed. That's how he gets his charisma,
Yeah, but like he's like, come on guys, we're gonna do these beer bong shots.
He's like the one guy that won't take the thing. It's all right. I've already got mine.
And like he just.
But these kids, they see their dads rushing into battle, and this guy thinks he's got a sword. Guy thinks he has a gauntlet, and all they see is some ganky rubber glove, and this guy over here just carrying a
leather
cricket
glove.
bat.
It's a
leather glove, okay, not rubber.
Yeah, so
could have been a kitchen glove. You don't know.
No, because you need the fingers.
Yeah, you need the fingers, and the white stains kind of have to stick to the leather.
Yeah. So then he has his magic, and it's a magic gauntlet. You know what I mean? It's
right.
So Luis Pina.
Well, we haven't given him anything, have we?
Yeah, no, he needs a weapon.
He needs a weapon. Okay, so we need a fraternity-based weapon for Luis Pina. What should his be? I'm trying to think. I've never really been part of a fraternity.
Can we give him like ribbons?
Ribbons?
Like he does like the opening like ribbon montage. Like for the new fraternities, like you know what I mean, like
no. That you've never been near a fraternity either. I've at least driven down frat row. You don't see that shit.
Yeah,
this is a fraternity, not a sorority.
This is while they're getting. This is exactly. It's weird, but this is what like behind doors, like when they have their secret meetings and the people are getting paddled. He's just like in the background to like make it more ominous. Oh, like down.
Maybe he's the guy that can magically find liquor anywhere.
Oh, so him and Zach, they have nothing except each other.
He doesn't drink. He can, but he is like the guy that can just pull liquor out of anywhere.
Yeah,
like he's the guy. He's like the supplier, the guy that always has liquor, drugs, something on him.
Yeah, he does cocaine though.
No, I want to say he's the most sober guy there. Like literally, everybody else has their own little issues. They, you got Matthew McConaughey snorts some coke every now and then. You got what's his name? Ben. What's his name? Wow, I'm the one that picked Ben Affleck. You got Ben Affleck, and he's got an occasional heroin issue. Like seriously,
no, like
heroin?
his addiction is just sex.
His addiction is
you know
sex?
what I mean? Like paddling people, and like he's a complete masochist.
He's like constantly walking up to Luis. You got that lube I like?
Yeah, you know. And he's like, bro, like, come on, man. I told you I have to special order that. You know, like you got to give me 3 weeks in advance. That stuff comes from Cuba. You know, and so they end up having to go back. There's the clear demon bad guys that everybody's afraid of. In the village, but they look so different that everybody knows that they're there to like save the village.
So I say the head bad guy, the guy that leads the entire group. He is a former fraternity member that accidentally got stuck in the past, and he's kind of honed his power. His power is an amalgamation of all their powers.
So let's say he was the first person to ever do like the ritual, and it succeeded and sent him back, and this particular group was with him and were just fated to come years later.
So he was the first person to do the ritual to pass on his powers, but he didn't pass it on to one person. He passed on individual powers to 4 different people, right?
And then the next time like he was there,
but the ritual accidentally booted him into the past
when he gave all of his items away.
Right.
Like the second that happened, like he no longer had anything to keep him anchored on this end, so it sucks him back.
Right.
And the only way for him to come back is to put all the items on, like to take all the items back.
So I say the main bad guy has to be the goofiest guy that you could put into this position.
Mr. Bean.
Rowan Atkinson, really? You want to put Rowan Atkinson
or the guy who played Gargamel in the Smurfs?
No, well, that's Hank Azaria. Okay, I like Hank Azaria, but I think you were kind of spot on with Rowan Atkinson. Because Rowan Atkinson could play some serious goof.
Yeah.
You've seen Johnny English, and of course you've seen Mr. Bean, and you've probably seen the sequel to the Scooby-Doo movie.
Yeah. But I feel like he should just like he can't handle the kids at all either.
Right.
Zach's kid completely sketches him out.
Right. I want to say like the only thing that he thinks he's pissed. He wants to just like terminate these kids, but he wants his power back, so he had to lure them back here to get the power before the kids got it.
Yeah. Like the ritual, like it happens every X amount of years. Mm-hmm. So in order for them to pass, like the kids have to be a certain age, and they have to pass it on to them. And if once it gets passed to them, they can't pass it on for X amount of years.
Right, but it's only once every 25 years or so, they were able to open a portal that actually is functional on both ends, and that's how they managed to get the demons to pull these guys back.
You know, but it only works on bringing to the past, not going forward. Like he can't
unless he has
that.
the powers in the past,
right?
Which he's able to go forward. So it's basically on whoever holds the power.
Yeah, and it's all like at the end, they all can get back. Like he can once he has all the powers, he can open up the doorway for all of them to get back.
First, all I want to say is we seriously have to get Jackie Chan to teach Rowan Atkinson his style of stage fighting, just because that would make this movie extra perfect. I'm just saying.
You know, like throwing chairs at everybody.
Jackie Chan just spends months with this guy. We need to perfect this craft. We're gonna go ahead and bring Jet Li over here. You can help him out a little bit too.
So when Mr. Bean, that's what I like to call him, because that's what I've always called him. So when he gets all the items, it's actually items to him. Like they still have, like the paddle, and you know what I mean. Like
let's
in the
call
glove.
him Mr. Neeb.
Mr. Neeb.
Just reverse it. I don't know. Do we have to give him a name?
So like he gets the gauntlet. Who are we missing? Are we missing a character here?
No, we've got the 4 major guys, and I don't think we named anybody else. We were going to initially have an African American lead. Oh, Colin Hanks we were going to put in there, right? Did we put Colin Hanks with the adopted kid in?
Yeah, you put the son in, but we need like another adult.
I say, the fellow that was in Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah, I like him.
Because I've loved him in the Office. He's fantastic in Hot Tub Time Machine. I liked him in Zack and Miri.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Was he in Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah, he was the Pontiac Bandit.
Oh, okay.
9-9.
So what would we do with him, though?
So...
What is his... You have to give him some kind of power.
He has the shoes.
The shoes?
Yeah.
So he's like the...
Like, there was, like, the most expensive shoes back when they were in school, and he was the only one to have them.
He was the guy who... Everybody loved his shoes constantly.
And, like, he was super...
Always had the best shoes.
He was super fast. Okay. You know what I mean? So, like, he would...
Not
like
anymore.
He was a track star.
He was a track star.
You know, but now, like, that they're adults, he's not a track star.
He was the guy, no matter how many times the cops descended on the fraternity, he was always able to get away. Always able to get away.
Like, oh, where'd he go? And he just...
Just like he always had some amazing story about how he got away. You know what I mean? Like he was always this close to getting caught, only because he wanted to let them get that close. Yeah, then he.
But like he's like, yeah, I climbed up the fire escape. You know what I mean?
And pole vaulted over a cow or something.
Like all like the craziest shit, and like they can never catch him.
Right.
But now that he's an adult, he's not as fit. He's not that a track star until they go into the past.
Okay.
And once they go into the past, he's super fast. You know what I mean? And he goes running and he's like, "Yeah, I got my skill back." And you don't see him for the entire movie until the final battle.
Yeah, that's Craig Robinson.
Craig Robinson.
Yeah, I do actually like him for that.
Yeah, but like he's gone for the entire movie until the final fight scene when he finally comes running back. You know what I mean? Like cuz what happened, like, let's say like you the fastest runner ever, and then tomorrow you can't run anymore, and you're like, what the fuck, like that's me, and then you get to a position where you're able to do it again. You know what I mean? Like he was finally able to run again, and he just kept running like Forrest Gump.
Right. I almost say like the Flash, just.
And, like, everybody's like, did you see the black streak? And, you know what I mean? Like, because we're medieval times, there weren't too many black people, right, like, in that area.
The whole running gag throughout the entire movie is this guy, like, his power got amped up a little bit, so he's just zooming through the flick.
Yeah.
And occasionally, like, if you were to slow down, like, a DVD version, you could see the guy run through certain scenes, like, in the background.
It's like at one point they're like, oh, I hope Craig's getting having a better time than I am, and he's in some like random farmhouse fucking a white chick, like, you know what I mean? He's like, I love these white women. So he's having a blast in the past.
He's just having fun.
He doesn't.
I'm not fighting. You guys go do what you're doing.
He doesn't even have a son.
No.
Like, he came back to, like, party with everybody, but...
Like, no kids.
Like, he kind of becomes a nerd when
Turns out his kid is the one that Colin Hanks is adopted.
No, that would be terrible.
No? That'd be weird. Of course, we're making a bad movie, too.
No, it's...
We like bad movies.
No, that would be terrible. Not even bad.
We don't even need Colin Hanks in there. Just take Colin Hanks out, throw in Craig Robinson.
Absentee father.
We don't need the adopted kid.
Right, but you're saying absentee father. You know what I mean? No, he's not an absentee father. He's just a man who'd never had kids because...
Ben Affleck's the absentee father.
He's the worst.
He shows up and his kid's, why are you even fucking here? I didn't invite you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, I have to pass this on to you, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't want what you've got. What, are you going to give me herpes?
Yeah, he just hates him.
It's a fucking STD? Is that what you're passing on to me? No, I'm going to pass on this paddle. I don't want your paddle.
You know what I mean? And like at one point...
We don't do this kind of stuff anymore. There's no hazing.
Yeah. It's like Ed friggin' Luis Lopez... Yeah, like he just has like a bottle of vodka. Like, so we're not taking the shots. you know, like you guys aren't taking shots.
You guys have Jello in medieval times. Can we do this?
But that's
watermelon, something.
He like the whole time it's Ben Affleck's character, kind of like, you know, saving everybody because he has like the initial. Him and Matthew McConaughey have like the initial powers. Like one has like a sword, the other one has the mystic glove gauntlet, and. We have Speedy Gonzalez running around over there, you know. Craig Robinson.
Got like the shoes of Mercury, like the god, you know, almost.
So, like, you know, he has a power technically, but he's not using it to help anybody.
No, he's not. Nope, not going to help you at all. Out of here.
And then you have Zach.
His whole power is based off of getting out of there as quick as possible.
But then you have Zach and Luis, and they're friggin'. like they're like hiding at one point, and he's like, no, like he's like, dude, I just found a bunch of alcohol over here, and he's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I just found a bunch of alcohol over here, and he's like, bro,
this is like, really weird moment. Really weird moment. Zach Galifianakis has got the beer bong, and they're like, if I drink this now, it's still going to take some time for it to take effect. There's only one way we can get the alcohol in my system fast enough. And then there's this weird butt chugging scene.
Yeah, like, so like he's drinking it at first, and he's like, "No, we got to go for the butt chug." And he's like, "No, I don't want to go for. I don't want to help you with the butt chug."
Just put it in.
There should be a scene at the beginning of all of them when they're younger, and he's refusing to to do the butt plug with him.
Butt chug.
The butt chug. Butt plug. Yeah, the butt chug with him. He's
that's
like, no,
Ben
man.
Affleck.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm not gonna help you here. Like, why? No, that's disgusting. Like, I'm not gonna help you do that.
Ben Affleck's like, I'll help. No, we don't want you here. Go.
You know what I mean? He's like, get your paddle out of here. But then it's
You'll
like
help too much.
So like he refused it, and now it's like a life or death situation, and he has to participate in the butt chug with him.
Yeah, that sounds good. You know, and in all honesty, we spent so much time on this particular.
This is a good one.
Pitch Fest. I like this one. Yeah.
Pitch Fest between
now
two
how do
people.
we end this? Now, what's the end battle? Well, obviously, it's going to be like a climactic battle. Like you said that Craig Robinson doesn't even end up in there till the end. So what possesses him, first of all, to come back and help? I feel like Craig Robinson, like, he can pass on that power of speed, like, by touching someone. Like, if he like, grabs them, they have to get out of there fast. He just grabs them up and...
So, like, everybody gets defeated, you know what I mean? Except for Craig, who, like, literally shows up last minute, you know what I mean? Everybody gets defeated. He has, like, the actual, like, mystic weapons. Yeah. And he's standing there, and he's like, if only I had the speed, I could get home. And they're like, that's all you want is to get home? You know, like, you know how to get home? And he's like, yeah, I need all the items. You know, and then he's like, bro, like, why didn't you just say that in the first place? Like, they were friends back then, but because he was the only one that got sent to the past, he harbored revenge. You know, like, he harbored all this hate for him.
Right.
So he's just like, you know...
Like, they weren't really friends, because he's the guy that passed this on to them. So he was like the senior that passed on the powers to them.
Right. And he pretty much, like, they're like, bro, like, you are our idol. Why didn't you just tell us? We would have helped you, you know? And he's just like, he has, like, kind of a change of heart. And he's like, but we still don't have, like, the enough speed to make it. And then that's when Craig Robinson comes, like, did you say speed?
I wouldn't even say he just... I would say that he just kind of runs out of speed, like, in the middle of the field. God damn. Oh, God. Okay. And then he looks around. The hell are you all doing? Just... Why are y'all on the ground?
And he's like...
What the fuck's going on?
He starts off, like, thick, you know what I mean? And then by the end of the film, he's, like, just, like, super, like, lean.
Super lean, yeah, back in his, like, running form.
You know? He's just like, oh, what a great workout. And then, like, looks over and everybody...
Absolutely wiped.
Everybody's like, what?
It's like, where have you been?
Then they're
what
like...
the fuck?
Oh, he used up all of his speed for... Like, he has to rest. And, like, everybody's ready to go home. The son, like, finally, like, realizes, like, their dad's true potential and why, like, how they really love him. Friggin' Zach's kid smokes a joint. You know what I mean? Like, he's like... his shit dies, his DS dies, and he's like hyperventilating, and fucking Luis pulls out a joint, and he's just like, "Here, man, relax." And that's when he hits it, and he's just like, you know, shakes his head, and his hair like falls in front of his face, like he becomes like just the cool, mysterious type at that point.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, thanks, man. Like, I really appreciate that. But the rest of the time, he's kind of like, ah! Like,
I picture this awkward scene like right after the battle. Like, you have this massive battle where basically he, you know, Rowan Atkinson's character, he gets all these weapons back, and after Craig Robinson runs into the scene, half out of it, he's like, yeah, man, he ran out all of his energy, ran out all of his powers, and he needs to rest. So there's this next awkward scene where they're all just sitting in a tavern waiting for him to rest up, and they're all just sitting around like, you were going to kill us, weren't you? He's like, well, I mean, I wasn't really trying to kill you guys. I just needed to get back to... And it's just weird.
Yeah.
Weird just kind of banter. Like, no, you were going to fucking kill us. Like, you thought that you were going to take all of this, and you were going to leave us here, and then you're going to go back home. So, well, I said I'm sorry.
It's like, well, but it's all in the
just
past.
Super awkward, you know, just Craig Robinson comes back down, and he's not lean anymore. Like, he ran himself lean, but when he's lean, he's wiped out. He gets all the weight back on, he's got the energy again.
But that really only lasts there once he gets back to the future. Like, matter of fact, he's not lean until he gets back to the future.
Yeah?
He gets back to the future, and he's like, yeah, man! And they're like, bro, like, how'd you do that? And he's back to his original self. And he's like, no! And he, like, wants to go back, and that's how they cut it out.
Yeah.
Like, no! And freeze frame.
Freeze frame. Yep, get ready for a sequel.
Him trying... Now he tries to get everybody back in the sequel. I was lean again!
Frat Boys Back to the Future. No, I kind of like that one. We had another one all set up. I don't know if we're going to do this one. Because we spent a good portion of time on the last one. Let's see what this would have sounded. No, this is the one we just did. Those are the cards we just played with. Let's go over here. Okay. A troubled kid with supernatural abilities seeks their fortune during the Alaska Gold Rush. And what if the hero were a captain of an interstellar spaceship? I feel like I don't want to do this one.
Yeah,
I don't even like how that sounds.
Right. Pretty much we'd have the trouble kid with the superpower. His superpower sucks. You know what I mean? Like, he can only hear, like, elevated music in people's heads. Like when someone's drawing a blank, it's just a high-pitched voice. Like,
troubled kid with supernatural abilities. I say troubled kid, I'd say, like, his supernatural ability is he can read your mind, but if he reads your mind for more than 10 seconds, your head explodes. That's why he's troubled. Because he has trouble, like, not... He's one of those kids that constantly wants... He's nosy as fucking hell.
Yeah.
And occasionally he gets a little too into what he's doing, and boom!
And sometimes, like, he could shut it off and start it back up, but, like, it gets, like, with the real gushy details.
So Alaska's another planet now. We're talking interstellar spaceship. So, you know how, like, unfortunately, we wonderful Americans seem to have the same name for everything. Like, if you go try to find Georgetown on a map, how many Georgetowns are there in America?
A bunch.
Too fucking many. So, I figure some jackass named a planet Alaska, and that's where the next gold rush is.
In Alaska.
Right. Planet Alaska.
and he goes there.
The only thing that keeps him from being able to read people's minds, he has a mining helmet that he puts on that mutes everything. And so he spends all his time mining.
Until he loses his helmet. There's a cave collapse.
Okay.
And he loses his helmet, and he's stuck in there with a bunch of, like, just... You people watch. You know what I mean? People that you would people watch, but they're also miners.
I want to say not just miners, but the reason that there was a collapse is because you had a bunch of corporate types that came in to kind of check out the mine and see how things were going. This is like a corporate situation. So a corporation has sent these people to this planet to mine for a substance that's much like gold. Not necessarily gold on our scale. And
it's kind of like
those corporate idiots somehow trigger an explosion that levels the front entrance to the mine.
Yeah, so they're all trapped there. But put them in, like, a Big Brother scenario. You know, like, they have to, like, do the corporate people make them have to do competitions for food. You know what I mean? Right. When food shortage starts to get low, who gets voted off the island and stuff. And that's why, like, without his helmet, he's just super... like, he's... like blowing people's heads off like left and right by accident, and nobody knows what's going on.
I feel like somebody's being manipulative. Like, they're trying to get out of there. They're trying to find a way back to the surface to get out of this situation. And of course, there's a supply area. Mm-hmm. There's an area where they have their supplies. They spend most of their time underground, so they're not going to run out of supplies anytime soon.
Right, it's a foreign place. They just sent a big. That's why corporate was there, to make sure that the food shipment, like, came in correctly.
And so they're just kind of... Somebody is trying to sabotage every attempt to get back to the surface. So this explosion is starting to feel like this was on purpose. Somebody leveled the front of the mine to just seal it off for some reason. And he keeps trying to read people's minds to see if he can try to figure it out, piece it together. And he's a couple people here and there. He's getting really too involved in what's going on. Boom. Ah, fuck. You know, starts to get little bits and pieces until somebody's head pops off, you know. Nearing the end of the movie, I haven't even cast anybody because I don't really care about this movie enough to cast it. I just like the idea a little bit. Nearing the end of the movie, he realizes that one of the first people who he accidentally killed was the one that did it. Mm-hmm. And he had a couple of henchmen that were just sort of carrying out his orders afterwards.
Yeah.
Right? Just two bumbling henchmen. Nobody of any real significance.
And they have, like, no thoughts of their own, really.
Right. He tries to read their minds, and he actually stays in there a while and realizes it's not doing anything. There's, like, nothing in there. I can't mine anything. They're just doing whatever they're told. It's all action, no thought.
Yeah, like, literally, that's, like, elevated music. Like.
It's like fucking John Tesh in their head. Do you know who John Tesh is at all? No?
No, I do not.
Used to be on Entertainment Tonight. He's this guy that, like, left, like, this TV kind of entertainment talk show, Entertainment Tonight, and he went on to become one of the most painful pianists I have ever tried to listen to. Like, I not that I ever really wanted to listen to John Tesh, but I knew people way back when that listened to him and is like, this is like some serious shit. This guy's horrible. And you ever just try to listen to something because somebody told you it was bad?
No.
And you're like, it can't be that bad. Oh my god, it fucking is.
It really is.
It's that bad. Like Kenny G on a much, much deeper level of bad.
So much for not doing this one.
Well, we spent a couple minutes on it anyway. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really interested in casting it. Who would you want in this movie? Literally, this is one of those movies that you just throw at Troma and say, hey, hire anybody. Anybody that's willing to work for nothing and just make this movie.
Shoe fly, don't bother me.
Maybe they'll make it, maybe they won't. Maybe it'll just be a fantastic Troma movie like all the funny Troma movies are.
Maybe.
I love Troma. Troma's my buddy. As a matter of fact, I saw a movie that I have to get with Beverly D'Angelo in it. It's called, oh no, I can't remember what it's called now. Petrodactyl Woman. It's like the Petrodactyl Woman of Beverly Hills. I was like, I have to get that. That is something I have to pick up. Because it just sounds insane. Like, who the hell would think of shit like that?
No one.
So, any other thoughts before we end this lovely podcast and all the rambling that we've done near the end of the podcast?
I'd just like to apologize to my fans that I probably don't have. Let them know that, you know, I'll be around as often as possible. And hopefully I'm not at this job forever, which I won't be, trust me.
Well, you're working towards something a little more local that gets you back here on the weekends.
Right. It's just, you know, money's the motive. Hey, if you guys pay us enough, I'll never have to work.
Well, it's not about them paying us. I mean, hey, if
you listen enough, not pay us.
You lovely people, if you want to donate, you can donate through the Anchor app. I've actually posted a link on our Facebook page, our Cinematic Anarchy Facebook page, where you can go and donate there. We should be starting live streams where there'll be a donation link. I will be doing that through either YouTube or Twitch, depending upon which way we go about that.
YouTube!
And we're pursuing other avenues of getting our little bit of fun out there. If you enjoy us, want to hear us keep doing this stuff, honestly, it costs us time and it does cost us money, so anybody that's willing to donate just a little bit to the cause, you are beautiful people, and we will talk you up on the podcast. Give us your information. Give us your surname. Give us your, I don't know what your pseudonym.
Let us know where you live.
Yes, let us know where you live. We'll thank you in person. No, we won't.
Hi.
It's going to be restraining orders at my door at some point.
At your door, not mine.
No? We're not going to tell them where you live.
I'm off the grid.
No, you're not.
I'm off the grid.
I picked you up from someplace that was definitely on the grid.
You're on my grid. All right, I'm off your grid.
I have not touched your grid. I think we're good. I'm not touching your grid.
Guys, he's about to touch my grit.